am a big Marvel fan, and when Avengers Endgame came out, I was super excited and couldn't wait to see the movie. About halfway through, maybe a little more, um, there is a scene where two main characters, Clint and Tasha, have to figure out which one is going to be sacrificed. In the end, Natasha is the one that's sacrificed, but I believe it should have been Clint. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to give a little bit backstory of what I'm talking about. In the movie, the Avengers have to go and try and get all 6 Infinity Stones, and the one Clint and Tasha are sent to get is called the Soul Stone. So in order to get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice a soul for a soul, or basically someone that you care about has to be sacrificed in order to get that stone. So Clint and Tasha are best friends, and they just happen to have been sent together. And in the end, like I said, Natasha is the one that ends up being sacrificed. So I believe and have believed for the past 3 years that it should have been Clint, and I'm going to explain to you why. But before I do that, I am going to kind of void one of the main arguments that is used as to why Natasha should have been sacrificed like she was over Clint. So Clint has a family. He has 3 kids and a wife, and that's the main reason everyone says that he should have been sacrificed, or he should not have been sacrificed, sorry. And Natasha should have been. But we find out a couple movies later that Natasha also has a family. She has a sister and a mom and dad. They're like a surrogate family. They're not blood related, but they are still a family. So she has a family and he has a family, so that argument is no longer valid. Now, to get to the reasons why I believe it should have been Clint, Natasha is like the glue of the Avengers. She holds everyone together. Everyone comes to her for advice, and she is just always there for everyone. An example of this is in a couple movies before, Civil War, half the Avengers fight each other. So half are on one side and half are on the other side. And in this movie, they fight against each other, and it's a whole big battle. Some of the Avengers end up being arrested in the end. And at the end of her movie, she tells one of the second characters that she is going to go and try and get her family, the Avengers, back together. So in that case, she actually has 2 families, her Red Room family and her Avenger family. And so she is trying to get the Avenger family back together since they were fighting each other. She wants to bring everyone back together. Now, the main reason that I believe Clint should have been the one that sacrificed was because of the events that took place during Endgame. So, after the team finds out a solution or an idea of how to get the stones back, Natasha goes to find Clint. And we find out that he is actually under a new alias, Ronin, and he's using this alias to go and murder a whole bunch of gangsters in different countries, different states, and he, in the 5 years after Thanos won, he has gone around and murdered people. So Natasha has actually stayed in the Avenger campus on site, and she has been trying to figure out a solution any way that she can every day for the past 5 years, trying to figure out a way to get half of the population back. So for those of you who have not seen Endgame, spoiler, at the very end, if you have not seen Infinity War, at the very end of that movie, Thanos snaps his fingers and gets rid of half of Earth's population. So there was no rhyme or reason to who got banished or snapped away, but half of the population did. And Endgame takes place 5 years later. So in that time, Natasha has spent every day trying to figure out how to get her team back, and not only her team, but also the half the population that got snapped away. But like I said earlier, in those 5 years, Clint has not tried to help get his family back. Half the population back. All he has done is grieve the loss of his family and murdered gangsters. Um, so that's two of the main reasons I believe it should have been Clint instead of Natasha. She was always there for Avengers, and she was always there for the people of Earth.